During the 1980s, rappers began facing intense image criticism. At the time, the culture was new, misunderstood, and racially charged. This meant artists were not only judged for their music, but also for how they spoke, for how they behaved, and also for how they dressed. Adidas sneakers, tracksuits, and even Kango hats were all heavily scrutinized, with critics claiming the looks to be trashy, thuggish, and just flat out unprofessional. Until on May 29th, 1986, Run DMC had decided to release their now hit track, My Adidas. It's a song that at first glance is simply just a celebration of their favorite trainer, the Adidas superstar, but was really written as a passionate response to the criticisms claiming that Run DMC's street image was promoting crime and violence within the nation. This encouraged the duo to double down and continue to dress in a quote-unquote thuggish manner, except now they wore the clothes as a symbol of pride, identity, and everyday street life. Soon after, they would begin asking their fans to hold their own Adidas sneakers in the air during concerts as a sign of retaliation and celebration. This led to Adidas executives witnessing these moments and then subsequently signing Run DMC through a now historic brand endorsement deal, and it understandably opened the doors for many more endorsement deals of this type to come after. Things were definitely changing, and the rapper fashion industry was suddenly raking up tens of millions of dollars every single year. Fast forward to the present day and we're apparently in the billions now. From Jay-Z's Rockaware making over $700 million in 2007 to Kanye West's Yeezy line making over $1.7 billion in 2019, it makes you wonder, how the heck did we get here? And since when do rappers literally own their brands rather than just endorsing for them? I'll tell you exactly how. All the cultural fashion turning points, all the staple logos and garment designs, and all of the absolute heaps of wealth very simply trace back to one small hip-hop group. You may have potentially heard of them. Let me tell you about how the Wu-Tang Clan essentially broke the mold and quite literally reshaped the fashion industry. The Wu-Tang Clan are easily one of the most influential hip-hop groups of all time. Originating from Staten Island, New York, the rap posse was founded by the RZA, the Jizza, and Old Dirty Bastard, who had all known each other since childhood. After early solo setbacks in the music industry, the RZA began assembling a larger collective built around creative freedom, individuality, and long-term ownership. We'll come back to that word a little later. The full lineup came together with Method Man, Raekwon the Chef, Ghostface Killah, Inspector Deck, U-God, and the Master Killer. In the end, they had successfully appealed to the masses during the 1990s, capturing attention with their uniquely gritty sound, kung fu inspired aesthetics, and the distinct rap flows and cadences that set each member apart. From Old Dirty Bastard's wildly unconventional verses to the Method Man's defined smoothness and charisma, the Wu-Tang Clan have undoubtedly cemented their status as one of the greatest rap groups to ever exist, not only through their music but also through a groundbreaking fashion business model that again literally changed everything. Let's talk about it. As the mid-90s approached, the Clan began rising rapidly, with their distinctive style already influencing New York street fashion. Timberland boots, baggy hoodies, military jackets, and a whole lot of Ralph Lauren became staples thanks to the Wu-Tang Clan. Looking back, dabbling into fashion was kind of a no-brainer for these guys, hence why what simply began as tour merch would quickly evolve into a fully developed streetwear brand. Wu-Wear was founded in 1995 by the RZA, his brother Divine, and streetwear mogul Oliver Grant. Aesthetically, the brand was a clear-cut extension of the classic Wu-Tang aesthetics that we all know and love, with Oliver Grant claiming, quote, "Wu-Wear brings the Wu mantra from your brain to your body, and we are fully delivering." This quote is especially great as it frames Wu-Wear as a wearable philosophy. It's not just a logo or a trend, but a full manifestation of the Wu-Tang ethos. With such a strong brand identity and such a creatively talented team, it's no wonder why Wu-Wear would then go on to make tens of millions of dollars annually. Except this was only about 50% of the reason why the brand would be so lucrative, as again it was the Wu-Tang's unique business approach that really took things to record-breaking heights. As the Wu-Tang began extending their influence from music into fashion branding, they decided it would be best to treat the said fashion the same way as they had been treating their said music. I'll break it down. The Wu-Tang Clan essentially revolutionized the music industry by rejecting the traditional one-group contract structure. They would instead sign a one-group deal with Loud Records and then leave each member free to sign their own solo deals with other record labels. In the end, this left the RZA with full creative control over the Wu-Tang's sound as well as its brand identity. Hence why many of the members' solo projects collectively feature beat production from the RZA as well as a heap of references to Kung Fu and the Shaolin. This approach resulted in multiple streams of revenue at once and massive exposure across the country, leaving the Wu-Tang functioning less like a brand and more like a parent company, with each member then acting as their own subsidiary brand. And this idea of ownership over traditional label dependency is the same strategy that would then later be applied to Wu-Wear, where most artists during the 1990s either wore brands for free or signed endorsement deals where the companies kept control. Wu-Wear was created, owned, and controlled by the Wu-Tang Clan, with the RZA, Divine, and Oliver Grant spearheading the entire operation. This meant that they had full control over the design, the branding, the messaging, and even majority profits from the brand. Ultimately, doing everything in-house meant that marketing and creating a solid brand identity would be far easier and far cheaper to do than it would for most fashion brands at the time. If a member simply wore a Wu-Wear jacket in a music video, it was free promotion. If a member was to just wear a pair of Wu-Wear jeans during a concert, it would garner recognition. Heck, even just releasing music was technically a big part of Wu-Wear's quote-unquote marketing. The classic W essentially went from being just a logo to now being a licensable, scalable IP. And in the end, the brand's major success caused a radical shift from rap artists simply being used as marketing tools to now being literal brand owners, showing investment companies the true lucrative potential of a rapper-owned fashion brand, whilst also encouraging other rap artists to follow suit and become entrepreneurs of their own, using the same tactics that Wu-Wear had been using. This all opened doors which had absolutely never been opened before, and it made it possible for fashion juggernauts like Rocawear and Sean John to even exist, which then opened more doors and allowed us to now have Yeezy, Golf Wang, Cactus Jack, and literally all of them, everything else, all of the fashion rapper streetwear brands that we all know and love right now today are here because of Wu-Wear. I think that as a whole, Wu-Wear can only really be understood as a powerful conclusion to the scrutiny that black musicians had been facing for decades up until this point. A conclusion to the struggle that Run DMC had triumphantly clapped back at during the 80s. This is a brand that represents the moment fashion within hip-hop moved from fighting for recognition to literally exercising ownership and control. Alright, so before we finish up, I do just want to very briefly speak on Wu-Wear's brand identity as a way to link back to what I was saying earlier, but also because I don't know, it just looks really cool. It's just cool looking, I guess. In an interview with PR News, the RZA said, quote, quote, "Just like Wu-Tang Clan's music, the WuWear brand has stood the test of time for the primary facts of its uniqueness." And this is the key word here, uniqueness. WuWear's brand identity was evidently quite rugged, raw, and unapologetically street, kind of like their music is. But then what's interesting is that the brand's designs are actually quite unique and expressive, especially for the time. Again, kind of like the music is. You see, the Wu-Tang Clan were always that one 90s rap group who were just a little different with it. Where most rap groups or rappers in general would preach about women, money, guns, and the struggle, Wu-Tang would rap about basically these same things, but they would also mix in various references to comic book characters, strategy board games, and you know, all the rest, kung fu, everything. They were the nerdy hood dudes, the ones who were maybe a little outcasted, and these differences are definitely very boldly reflected within WuWear's design ethos. From the color palette, which knows no bound, to the apparent Y2K futurism and references to the Shaolin, these garments genuinely have so much character and will, in my opinion, continue to stand the test of time. So, in the end, WuWear was at its peak, generating tens of millions of dollars annually, and quickly moved beyond niche streetwear and into department stores like Macy's and JCPenney. It was a level of distribution that was unheard of for any rapper-owned fashion brand at the time, but was unfortunately one that wouldn't last forever. As the 2000s began to approach, and fashion trends subsequently began to shift, baggy streetwear became a thing of the past, and a newfound taste towards slimmer fits and high fashion influences slowly took over. This, along with some other factors, resulted in most major retailers no longer carrying WuWear by 2008, and the brand unfortunately going mostly dormant by 2009. But we must never forget, WuWear created $1 billion industry. WuWear broke down real life racial oppression, and WuWear is of course forever. And a soft revival in 2017 has proven to be moderately successful, even if they may never reach the same success that they once had. Okay, and that is it. That is all I have for you. That is why WuWear is, not even in my opinion, just factually so important. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to subscribe if you like. Feel free to leave a like if you'd like. And yeah, as per usual, I do love you all. Until my next video, goodbye, au revoir, love you.